Hello, everyone. Good evening and welcome again to our weekly conversation held every Sunday on the Stellar Life Show. And today we're going to be talking about the seven-star worker. Last week we had a great time. We spoke about the power of communities and association, emphasizing the need for us to ensure that we're in the right environments that can spur us to where we are headed. But the reason why we're doing all of this is just so that we can become that fantastic employee or entrepreneur. So it's important that we all have this goal or an ideal of who a superstar employer should be, who that workforce should be. There are some people you see when you get into an organization and you're like, this person is so passionate about this organization. Like the person treats the organization like they're one of the owners of the organization. They love the organization. They embody the organization. The core values of the organization are in their hearts. They understand the vision, the mission, where the organization is headed. They have all of it, you know, at the tip of their fingers. And the truth is, for anyone who intends to actually succeed in a workplace, except you're not passionate about where you're working, which is not supposed to be the case, because if you're not passionate about where you're working, then honestly, you shouldn't be there. You should be where you want to be, because these things can be felt, these things can be seen. So if you're not happy to be somewhere, people can read you. People can read your energy. They can see how much you are giving to a particular task. And that's why today we're going to be talking about this, the seven-star worker. And, this idea first came from Jimmy Tewe. So I remember when I was much more younger, I attended one of his conferences, the seven-star worker, where he spoke about who the ideal employee should be, like employee of the year, superstar of the year. And that's why I said it, that we should bring it up. I'm sure we've heard of, five-star hotel, four-star hotel. And even if you look at apps, you literally see their ratings. Oh, this is 3.9. They need to fix this bug. They need to fix that bug. Now, seven-star is like out of this world. If there's something like a seven-star hotel, now that is the level of excellence that we want you to strive to become, such that your organization feels so blessed to have you, such that you can add much more value to your organization. So let's delve right in. If you're excited to, be joining this conversation, can we see that energy in the chat box? And the truth is, this status is a work in progress. It's a work in progress. Every day there are things that we can always improve to become the most admired or wanted or loved staff in an organization. So this will be our outline. Who exactly is this seven-star worker? Criteria to becoming a seven-star worker. How can you exceed your expectations? Because the expectations of you, KPI, job descriptions, how do you exceed this? There's also a need for us to speak to the topic of substance versus style. And then we can just take an hypothetical case study that will be very interactive. I would need our opinions in this as well. So who is a seven-star worker? Now, a seven-star worker is a person who embodies all of this. So as we can see here, interestingly, it shows seven-star. This was generated with AI, right? So I just wanted to have an idea what ChatGPT thought about who a seven-star worker is, but I would share who I think is a seven-star worker is. So this also goes for who a seven-star worker is. But my definition of who a seven-star worker is a seven-star worker is a person who understands the values of an organization. He or she understands the vision for the organization and the mission for the organization. And he or she finds a way to ensure that every work that they do contributes to the achievements of this mission. Right. So it means that every action, every time the person wakes up in the morning and the person is coming to the office, the person is thinking, how can I move the needle? What can I do differently that will help us achieve this target? So, for example, if the person works in a sales function within an organization, at the beginning of the year, the person knows that a target has been set for my unit. So for my business division, a target of 120 million naira has been set. To achieve this target, it means that every month we need to close sales of at least 10 million naira so that we can meet a flat run rate. But we know that because life is not flat, there are some months where you can make 30 million. There are some months where you can fall short. But the whole idea is altogether, cumulatively, you make 120 million naira. Every time the person is waking up, the person is saying, who do I need to speak to? What associations do I need to belong to? What communities do I need to be in? What places should I go? Who can I cold call? Who can I offer a facility that would ensure that my team achieves this goal of 120 million naira? Now, that's who a 7-star worker is. Because you would literally not, in recent times, not see people thinking about their organization. They just think about the organization when they get to work. The person wakes up in the morning and already has a to-do list, and you can see the priorities. There's a priority of task. There's a to-do to say, oh, between the person understands their energy level to say, I'm a morning person. Once it's getting towards the hours of 2, I would have dissipated a lot of energy. So I'll do what matters, the things that are important and the things that are urgent to this job. I will give my time to it. And then I can now pay attention to other tasks that are not so urgent, but are equally important and can support the main task towards the end of the day so that I don't make any mistakes. I pay attention to details and all of the important stuff and all of the meetings set in the morning. And this is a person that understands themselves. They're self-aware and they're also self-aware for the organization. So it helps them to achieve their tasks. Now, that is who I think a 7-star worker should be or is. Now, so you can begin to think about it. Am I that kind of person? Am I a 7-star worker or am I a 2-star worker? Rate yourself as it pleases you. So now let's go back to the one that was generated for us. It says that a 7-star worker is a proactive problem solver. Same thing. How do I move the needle? And because you know that you have to do your task, you have to consistently deliver excellence. You cannot do substandard jobs. You cannot send out a proposal with spelling errors or all of that. And that's why you understand that my energy level is in the morning. So let me quickly do the most important things in the morning. And I have somebody that can double check for me. Always make sure that there's somebody that can give a second eye. Or every time, another tip is every time you prepare a presentation, one of the things you can do is before sending it, you can leave it how I do mine. I leave it in the draft and I come back to it like after 30 minutes just to be sure that I'm seeing differently. I do something different, take away whatever distractions, and then come back to it to say, okay, is there something I could have written better? Could I have worded it better? Or better still, if you can get another person, maybe a superior person or anybody at all, to just take a second look and say, what do you think about this? Do you think it's something that should have changed? If you were on the receiving end, how do you think this would be? And just like I mentioned also in what I said, the 7-star worker is a master of time management because you know that there's a constraint, right? You have to do certain things within certain times. You understand that I have to manage my time well. Is it you already know that you go for lunch for 1 hour every day as written in your offer letter? And most of the time, organizations will say, oh, their lunch time is 12, their lunch time is 2, depending on what your organization says. If your lunch time is at the time where you are still very agile and you know that there's a lot of things I can do, you can decide to speak with your manager if it's something that is rigid and should be spoken about to say, oh, dear manager, I would like to have my lunch break from 3 because that's when I would like to calm down because the hours of 12, I'm still very active, I'm still very productive. I would not be hungry and I would like to deliver on, loads of my tasks already. So I would say that the 7-star worker is one who understands the importance of timing and tries to front load and not say, even though you know how to work under pressure, there's no need to work under pressure when there's really no pressure. Don't put on yourself, don't do unnecessary procrastination, right? Because it's laziness and you just see that all of the work piles up and then you are overwhelmed. But if you had worked with time, schedule time blocks to say, this can be done in 1 hour. Do I have 1 hour? Can I focus for 1 hour? Let me get it done and get it with. Even if my manager is not ready, let me just get it done. Because by the time we are ready for it, you don't know if you might not be in the right frame of mind. So let me use an illustration of me as a female. So as a female, I understand myself. I understand the kind of work that I do, and I understand times during the month for those of us that are female, and for men on the call who have sisters, girlfriends, wife. You understand how our monthly period can be. There are times when we're cranky, we're not, we're going through that phase. Once I know that I'm that period is coming, every task that I can do to front load, I just try to front load, even if my boss does not need it yet. I just do it so that when they're asking me, even in my pains or in my cramps, I'm still able to deliver. And nobody knows I'm not dropping the ball. Things are not slipping through the cracks because I have seen ahead and I've planned ahead for that. It's not taking me by surprise. It shouldn't take you by surprise. I don't know how it is, or the perfect example I would have been giving for male, but I'm definitely sure that there's something that you can also front load or plan ahead and say, oh, if I say I want to, for example, if I say I want to watch this Champions League game at 5, it means that, okay, I'm not going to take my lunch until maybe 4. So that when I'm taking my lunch by 4 in the lunchroom, I'll be able to watch the game. But you'll be happy to watch the game because you know that you have delivered on your tasks ahead, not that you are just faffing, you have not delivered and you're watching the game. Even you, ideally, you will not be happy with yourself, just saying. And then an exceptional communicator. Now, I need us to know that communication is two ways. Communication is not one-sided. It's not just only speaking. Communication is also writing. And one of the things I read somewhere is one of the most powerful people in the world, or actually the way it was written, the most powerful people in the world are people who can speak and people who can write, because they can kill you. So it is a skill that everybody should hone. Learn how to speak, learn how to articulate your thoughts. And the only way you can learn how to speak and write well is by reading. So do you like to read? We always hear people say, oh, readers are leaders, and we just think, oh, it's one of all those cliche, aspire to Maguire. No, it is a lifelong skill. Because some people say, oh, I don't like to read. You don't like to read, but every time they send you something on WhatsApp and you press read more, read more, read more, you see that you have read couple of pages. And if you have a book on your table and just tell yourself, I'm going to read maybe 2 pages or 3 pages every day, you see that you do yourself a whole lot good. Because when you are reading, consciously and unconsciously, you are understanding tenses, you're improving your vocabulary, you're understanding structure, such that when you write, your writing is rich, because you cannot give what you don't have. It's out of the abundance. It's what you know that you will give. There's no miracle or magic that wants to happen. So if you are reading books by terrible writers, you write terribly. If you read books from great people, you would also do that. You also watch podcasts as well, listen to people, and just tell yourself, okay, I'm going to do a presentation with my phone camera for 1 minute, and I'm not going to say I'm not going to say I'm not going to say I'm not going to, those space fillers. And it's by practicing. It doesn't happen in one day. So don't wait till you become that executive chairman or that president of the board before you now learn. So a 7-star worker is an exceptional communicator because you're able to talk about your task. Oh, I worked on this. I was able to deliver this. I experienced these blocks in this area, and this is how I think that I can overcome them with this support. That way, you are able to express yourself clearly and your manager understands you, right? So be an exceptional communicator. Also, a 7-star worker is one who is adaptable and resilient. I think it's important to mention at this point that all of these things listed here are required both ways. So whether you're in formal employment, informal employment, if you run your business or you're working for somebody, these things that are listed here, very important, very key. Are you adaptable? Are you that kind of person that something will happen and then you start, you're not able to think about a way? So perception and perspective is very important for anybody who is a worker, not even just a worker, as a person in life. Perception and perspective, very important. So what is perception? Perception is what you see. Then perspective is how you see it. So I bring a glass of water now, and the glass of water is half. The normal perception that everybody will see, what you are seeing, truthfully, not psyching yourself now, is that, oh, this cup is filled halfway, or this cup is, is it filled halfway or is it empty? The perspective is when you're not telling yourself, it's filled half. You are seeing it from negative and positive. That is what perspective is. So adaptability. Are you adaptable? Are you resilient? Because challenges would always come. Troubles will always come. Unforeseen circumstances would always happen that might prevent you from achieving that target of 120 million that you have set. So maybe a customer already promised you, we're going to do this transaction that will give you this, and you're already excited, and you have taken it everywhere. In fact, you have presented it to your manager, and all of a sudden, so sorry, due to an instruction from our senior management, were unable to go through with this transaction, and it's just 2 days to the end of the month. And without that transaction, your performance is like 20%, and you're going to receive blasting. So what do you do? Nothing. You receive the blast and learn differently, that you don't put all your eggs in one basket. You don't plan with just one customer. Plan with multiples and find a way to share it, right? One of the important things, I saw a quote today in church that my pastor shared, and I was very impressed. So he talked about a farmer who had a poultry, and there were signals. In Nigeria, we have NIMET, the Meteorological Institute, that will tell you, oh, there will be rainfall. This rainfall will lead to flooding in this area. And so they already gave them those updates that there will be flooding. And this is a farmer who has a poultry. With that kind of information, being a worker in that organization, the farmer calls for a meeting and says, oh, I think we'll have to close down business because we can no longer run. So we're trying to sell off all the beds, and then we'll have to stay until the floodings are over and all. As a 7-star worker, you should be able to think about it. Oh, boss, is it because there's going to be flooding, so we're selling off all the beds and all of that? Is there a way we can have elevated poultries, maybe suspended poultries, such that the beds don't have to? This is you being a proactive problem solver, and you are being adaptable to the situation, and you are being resilient to say there's a way out. It's not that you now go and say, God, I've lost my job, I've been fired, I've been this. What solution did you prefer? Or you can tell, if you see that solution doesn't fly because you've not seen where it has been done, or you don't know how to execute, you can ask the owner of the farmer, sir, can we start raising ducks? Because ducks like water, quack, quack, they like to float. So you're like, okay, sir, can we do ducks? And it's like, is there a market for duck? And you're like, oh, I've heard that this organization, this person likes duck, these people need duck. This is how we can do with duck. Duck egg is this. We can, educate our customers. It's similar to, this is you preferring solution. And it is important that you don't have the attitude of, oh, it's not my father's business, I cannot come and kill myself. Because the truth is, how you handle somebody's business, that is how you handle your business. So if you're saying, oh, when I start my own, it is from this rehearsal ground of your employment that we'll know how you're going to handle your own when you start your own. So it's important that you harness all of this. Being a team player and a leader is also very important. We don't work in silos. We're always working in teams. Organizations are interconnected. One department's input is another department's output. It keeps going in circle like that. So every time you're doing your job as an individual in a team, make sure you do that job excellently, so well that the next person who is going to use it will not see any mistake, at least to a large extent. Let your error rate reduce minimally. That's why you can create systems, you can create structures, you can have templates that help you, just plug and play. Instead of reinventing the wheel, you can say, okay, every time we get a letter from FIRS about taxes, they like us always answer in a certain way. Okay, instead of us always, going to look for the mail, can we have a folder for draft responses? If it's VAT, this is how we're going to respond. If it's withholding tax, this is how we're going to respond. If it's evidence of payments, can we have a folder for payee? Can we have a folder for this? This is you being a team player, ensuring that everybody has access to some sort of a repository, being a team player. And by doing that, you're already leading. You don't have to have the title team lead on your head before you lead. Just think about how I like to think about a seven-star worker is the fact that you are the CEO. You are the CEO of your position. So if you have to present your position to a board about, I came to work today. So what did you do that added value to this organization? Or you are just coming and you are just going. So be a team player and a leader. And then be growth oriented and committed. Commitment shows. If you see somebody who is committed about something, it will show in how they act, how they speak, the courage that they have in everything. Like it's it's palpable, it is contagious. You can feel it. So be that kind of person and be growth oriented. Not, of course, every time you're doing your work, you're always looking forward to, oh, I'm meeting my KPIs, I'm meeting my OKRs, I'm getting feedback from my bosses, I'm doing appraisal. You're not just also doing it because you're just doing it. You're also doing it because there's an anticipation of a reward that when I do well, when I meet my targets, I would be promoted. I should be promoted. And besides promotion being like the ultimate or the grand thing everybody is headed for, you also want to ask yourself, okay, on this job, has my writing improved? Has my delegation of capacity improved? Has my critical thinking improved? Has my problem solving improved? Because if you are promoted and all of these things, just because you met targets of sales and then you are lacking in other things, in a matter of time, the promotion will not be sustainable because, as we will subsequently see under substance and style, we see that there are things that need to go hand in hand. Your growth shouldn't just be narrow, right? Just the way we eat. Every time we eat, the food is not just going to our stomach and our stomach is just getting big and then our leg is thin and our hand is, no, there's a distribution to all parts. So every part of your career, every part of your personality should grow. Are you building relationship across departments, or you're just narrow focus and say, oh, I only work in my department, I don't look for other people? Because you know that you need to rely on people, you need to understand other people's job. I hope this definition or explanation of the seven-star worker has been very exhaustive and very explanatory. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to put it in the chat box. We'll take it just immediately after the class. So the criteria to becoming a seven-star worker, I think, is all embodied in one word: excellence. Excellence. And the truth is, excellence is a journey. Excellence is giving yourself to improvement. Okay, what can I do differently? I did it like this yesterday. What else can I do? How else can I do it? Is there a new presentation style? Is there an update? Is there a new trend? Is there a new format? Excellence, just improving, striving for the best. When others are saying, oh, there's just one way to do it, you're like, no, there's no one way to do it. There's always another option. There's a better way that I think that it can be done. Oh, going over and beyond. I'm sure we've seen that on LinkedIn where they say, oh, celebrate somebody who goes over and beyond. You're trying to exceed expectation. Your boss says, oh, prepare me a proposal like this. And you prepare it in such a way that he tells you, prepare me a proposal. Maybe he didn't specify if it was a Word document or a deck or all of that. And you prepare a deck that is so beautiful, very clear with the brand colors. You put financial highlights, put things that have to do with Excel, infographics, all of that. Very high quality work. And you do it in the nick of time. So it says, I need it in the next 1 hour. And you're able to churn it. And your boss is like, did you do this or did you contact a machinery to do it? That's excellent. Going over and beyond. And excellence doesn't just end with you just doing the job. It also shows other characters. It shows other traits. It shows ownership. It shows, oh, I'm responsible. It shows discipline. It shows that you are focused. You have a consistent behavior of meeting deadlines, showing up on time, churning out things. And at first, it might not be visible, but it's the consistent delivery. That's when you say, oh, this person is an excellent person. This person is reliable. This person is organized. Oh, yes, I think we can rely on this person. We can depend on this person to always get our jobs done. And that is the kind of person that you really, really want to be. You should desire and aspire to be. Because when you also have your business, you would also want this kind of persons. And you know that normal thing with life where some people say, oh, karma, some people say the law of seed time and harvest is what you sow that you reap. So are you excellent on your job? Because if you're excellent in that thing that you're currently doing now. How you do things is how you do everything. So don't say, oh, when I start my own. No, start now to be excellent. So if you're looking for one word, say, oh, 7-star. You know, when we say 5-star hotel, the only thing I think of excellence, you will not see flies flying up and down in the hotel in Dubai. Like, how now? It's not possible. And that is why they can pay premium for them. So you're saying, oh, I'm not earning well. I think I want to earn well. How excellent is your work? Can you, on the basis of the excellence of the work that you put out, ask for a salary raise and a review, and your boss will say, indeed, you deserve it. You're not just paying lip service, you deliver. Excellent work within deadline, highly disciplined, reliable, focused, consistent delivery, not on and off. Today you are high, tomorrow you are low. No, consistently delivering, right? So excellence is a watchword that you should have. Next is, like I mentioned, in churning out excellent work, it means that you're going over and beyond. You're going beyond just what is expected. They said do a deck, but you decided that instead of this deck to be wordy, I think that I can use infographics. There's a way where people can see your thought process. They can see what you're trying to achieve, even if you're not perfect. And that way, your boss is able to identify your training needs to say, if without design training, this guy is able to churn out this kind of report. If we send him or her on a design course, it means that we can have better presentations in this organization. And then they say, are you interested in going for, is that one of your training needs? Will you be happy to have that as one of your goals for this quarter? And you're like, yes. They also see how you write. Okay, you write well, but you can write better. Let's also send him on a course on how to write, critical thinking courses. And that's because you have shown that you are applying yourself. It's not that they say, who will do this deck? And then you run away and say, it's not me. It's not part of my job description. I'm not a designer. I'm not a this. I'm not a that. No, you need to have the right attitude. So here are some of the ways that you can exceed expectations, or how you can be that 7-star worker. Always exceed. Like I said, the 7-star worker is like a perfect picture, the ideal place you want to be, but it's a work in progress. So you get better daily. So these are some of the things you want to look out for to say, okay, where am I doing well? Where do I need to improve? What do I need to start doing? What do I need to stop doing? What should I continue doing? So you can have all of these in maybe like a spreadsheet or something. You can take a screenshot of the screen and tell yourself this. First, one of the definitions I gave was that a 7-star worker is somebody who understands where the organization is headed. So they wake you up now and ask you, what does this organization want to achieve before the end of the year? What was the target? Because every organization has a strategy, every organization has a plan, and that's why there's always management retreat, strategic retreat, and all of that. And if you're a business owner here and you do not always have maybe strategy retreat or management retreat or performance review, you're doing yourself a great disservice, because it means that the member of staff, the people who work with you, they don't even know what you want to achieve. So they are coming, they don't know how to think. They don't know, Oga is saying that by the end of this year, we want to have 120 million. We have 80 million, so we need 40 million. How do we get 40 million? What is the run rate? What do we need to achieve every month? Okay, do we need 20 million? What products can we sell? What products can we create just to achieve these targets? Understanding the expectation and the goals has to do with what is the vision, what is the mission of this organization, and how can I deliver value? How can I be proactive? What ideas can I give? What strategies can I give? What initiative? What support can I give in my role? Whether you're in the back office, whether you're in the front office, there's always a part you can play. One of the things that I hear a lot of people say, particularly about back offices, you people, you're just at the back office, you don't know what's going on, we're the ones always facing the clients and all of that. But the thing is, even as a back office staff, you can make your work so important and you become so indispensable and you'll be excellent. So for example, using the bank as an illustration, marketers will go out there, they'll get customers, they'll get in money, and then sometimes these customers want to move their money. And because of regulations, there are some approvals, restrictions placed on certain amounts that we need to know, why are you moving this amount at this time? Because there are liquidity guidelines that you need to have as a bank. So some of them will send this approval, and then if they, as a back office staff, if you say, oh, they say I'm not working now, I'm not doing anything, I will leave their approval. But if you know that if I do this for this customer, we're going to be able to get this, you would always treat every approval importantly. You don't take it with everything and just say, it's not real work, it's just nothing. No, look for how your function, every role in your JD, in your KPI, how does it cascade? How does it feed into the ultimate goal? And this will help you deliver quality work. So you know, oh, this work cannot be shabby. No shabby work can come out of me. You know how I like to deliver my task? I like to deliver my task in a way that if my superior is going to review it, they will hardly see anything that they should correct. And that's why I say one of the things that you can do is when you first prepare a presentation, before you send it hurriedly, leave it. Take a day off if you have that much time, or if not, take an hour off and come back to it. You'll see something to improve. You'll see something to correct. You see something that you can enhance. Start thinking like you are the boss. To say, if I see this presentation, does it fully cover the length, the breadth, the width of what I would like to see? If not, what can I do differently? Begin to brood on it and say, is there something that I can do? Is there somebody that has done it before that I can have a conversation with? These are all questions that you want to ask yourself as you're doing your job. And we spoke about time management already. And we spoke about continuous improvement of skills. You want to improve your writing, you want to improve your communication, read good writers. Start now. Once you do that, you'll be able to communicate well. You'll be able to be a good team player. Passion can be felt. If you like an organization, you will embody it. They don't need to force you. It is visible. You glow when you are coming to work. You're not looking pale and like they have said that we should come again. And because you are thinking like management is thinking, you'll be resilient and adaptable when things come. You're not shaking because you're like, there's always a way. There's always a way. I'm very optimistic. There's always a way. Once you already have that perspective of there is always a way, the ways will come. It might not come immediately, but keep reading, critical thinking, problem solving, proactivity, it will come. And it is all of these that shows that, oh, you're a leader. You're not like the team that is just, running up and down, screaming like headless chickens. No, you know what to do, and all. So let's not overflow this because of time. So I said it's also very important to talk about substance and style, because in doing your work as a 7-star worker, it's important that you have substance. It's also important that you have style. Now, what do I mean? Substance, as you can see here on the screen, is it talks about the what, it talks about the foundation, and then style talks about the how. It has to do with the approach to work. Now, you know that in the workplace, there are two important skills that everybody should have. You need the hard skills, which are the technical skills represented with core competencies here. And then you have the soft skills, which are agnostic skills, skills that are required in all industries. So in every industry that you're working in, these skills will always be required. So you're a doctor, you're a nurse, you're a whatever it is that you are, these skills, you need it. So substance has to do with what? It has to do with foundation. And for those of us who are Christians, and even in life generally, when you're building a house, one of the most important things is the foundation. If the foundation is not, it's the foundation that determines the height. If the foundation is not great, then you know that that building is just a matter of time. It's not going to last. So if your career is going to be long lasting, you want to build a career that will remain relevant, evergreen, you want to ask yourself, what are the core competencies of my career? If I tell somebody that I am an architect, what are the things that they will naturally expect that I know? The things that are a given. For example, if somebody tells you, oh, I'm a science class student, you just like person, oh, so you do physics and bio, you do physics, chemistry, biology. And the person looking at you, no, I'm not doing physics, I'm doing eco, I'm doing literature. You want to ask the person, sorry, did you say you are in science or you're in arts? Because you know what the foundations are. So for this career that you currently have, or this business, if anyhow you want to put it, it might be a 7-star worker, it might be a 7-star business as well that you're building. what are the core competencies? What are the foundation? Do you have the technical expertise? If you don't have it, you can begin to work on it now. Don't wait till you get to the top and then now go and embarrass yourself. Begin to look at it now. Does my business deliver results? Do I, as a person, when they see Stella and they say, oh, Stella on this job, does she do well? We say, no, she's always delivering results. Can that be said of you? Do you solve problems? Do you add value? Because if you are not adding value or you are not preferring solution, it means that you're part of the problem. So why should I keep a problem in my organization? Especially when maybe other people too are also problem. Like, no, I have to do away with problems. I'm looking for people who can add value. So are you a person of substance? A 7-star worker is one who has substance and who has style. So some people, they'll tell you, prepare a deck. You prepare a deck. But when they see the deck is you are worthy, Lord, you are worthy, Lord. You don't know, simple bullet points, simple things that you can just do to make the presentation look crisp. You don't know how to make things apt. And the truth is, like I said, it is a journey, it's a work in progress. People that do it, so they didn't get it there in one day, right? They learned it and they improved over time. Are you giving yourself to continuous improvement? Are you willing to learn? And that brings us to style. Style is how are you approaching something. Communication. There's a way that a person can communicate to a customer, and the customer would understand and say, okay, I now know what you mean. And there's a way a person will communicate with the customer, and the customer is like, I'm closing my accounts today. Talking to me, I'm your customer, I'm your this, I'm your that. Is approach. Everything is all about approach. Are there times where you maybe had an issue with maybe your bank or your network provider or maybe your SIM card, and you go to their outlet or their store and you are going with so much anger, you're going with so much rage, and when you get there, the lady or the guy just smiles at you and say, good morning, madam. Welcome to our organization. We're happy to serve you. How may we help you today? What's your complaint? Because of the way the person, you're like, let me calm down. Okay, see, the thing is, I'm not happy. And you say, oh, we're so sorry about that. The reason why this happened is because of this. With these 2 steps, we're able to rectify this. You can do it right now just so that we get it sorted. You can wait here and fill these forms and get it sorted while I attend to the next customer. And as soon as you're done, please, you can bring it back to me. I'll be happy to guide you through. The person has spoken to you well. But if you are coming with anger and rage and the person is saying, good morning, madam, how can we help you? Why are you then looking at me like that? You're like, no, something is wrong with you. You just give, a very brash answer and say, and speak about the network anyhow, or complain about the, I'll just say, I just want to close my account. I'll close my account. And communication, very, very key. One of the best skills that you can have as a person. And the thing is, when we look at the substance and style, substance is very important at the growth phase of your career, like at the entry stage of your career, where you are like a novice, where you need to learn the ropes, right? On your way to becoming expert, substance is very key. As soon as you start aiming for middle level management, aiming for C-suites, aiming for executive management, the communication style is also changing. You're now knowing, oh, executive communication, executive courage, executive presence, composure, branding, dressing, it's just different, right? So at the initial phase, substance is very important. Don't play with it. Don't start building style. Now, you will have style, don't get me wrong, but don't put the cart before the horse. There are times where you need to, roll up your sleeves and, put your hand in the job and be dirty and say, oh, these first 2 years of my career in this industry, I need to know the end-to-end nitty-gritty of this. After that, we can be doing fine, but we can be wearing suits because you can speak to it. You have sufficient knowledge, sufficient and reliable evidence that I have substance in this area. So you now know how to use different styles. Middle level, depends on who you are talking to. They say, Dangote, you should come and present. You know how to bring. They say it's Bill Gates. They're not going to correct you. I don't want to tell them, no, I'm in this field. I know this. I have mastery over time, right? So communication, very key, adaptability. And it's people who can wiggle their way out of situations that people want to see at the board. Not that there'll be a situation and then you start running, you just break down and start crying. Crying. Ah, professionalism. Always maintain professionalism. Always on point, never to be caught on fresh anytime, any day. And creativity, your ingenuity, your ways of doing things. Oh, they have been doing it this way. When you come, can you say, why are we doing this way? Why can't we put an outline? Why can't there be a border? Why can't there be an arrow? Why is it a bar chart? Why is it not a pie chart? I think it can be better represented like this. We need a tracker. No, it can be a Gantt chart. No, we need a daily report. We track this thing weekly, but I think weekly makes us lose some things. We need to check where the leakages are and block them. Can we do it twice a day? Creativity. Talking about substance and style. So this is just an hypothetical example. Hypothetical example saying I didn't have anybody's picture and I didn't want to use somebody that we do not know. So just look at my face. So we're going to do a quick case study of Stella, a project manager who has, recently been hired in an organization. And we want to see how, I mentioned initially that these are some of the things that a 7-star worker is going to have. So now we want to say, okay, in this case of Sarah now, how does she, in this case of Stella, how does she, exhibit all of these? So I wrote it down. I'm just going to read it briefly. So Stella joined a mid-sized technology company as a project manager. Although she was initially hired to oversee few small-scale projects, her work ethic, problem-solving abilities, and leadership skills soon set her apart. Stella's approach to work transformed her from an average employee into a 7-star worker, consistently exceeding the expectations of her managers and contributing to the growth of the company. Now, these are the key attributes. They are the ones that have been listed on the screen here that we can see. So I'll just speak to how Stella has been a problem solver. Shortly after joining, Stella realized that the company's project management system lacked proper structure. Can you see? It's not enough for you to identify problem. After identifying it, what do you do? So rather than complaining or waiting for leadership to notice, she took it upon herself to research. Remember saying proactive, you are going to prefer. She researched better systems and created a detailed proposal and presented it to her boss. Her proactive approach resulted in the company adopting a more efficient project management software, which streamlined operation and saved time across departments. See, you are either minimizing cost or bringing revenue. So just also think about that as you're doing your role. How am I bringing revenue or how am I saving cost for this organization? If you cannot pinpoint it, then the truth is you're actually not working and you're not needed in that organization. So start rethinking your role before tomorrow. Now let's talk about consistently delivers excellence. So Stella's first project was a software development initiative with a strict timeline and budget constraints. She not only delivered the budget ahead of schedule, but also under budget. Her attention to detail ensured that the software had fewer bugs, which impressed the clients. Her consistency in delivering such high quality work earned her the trust of the executive team, who began assigning her larger, more complex projects. Initially, she was hired for smaller projects, but when you are faithful in little, more will be committed to you because the reward for good work is more work. If you know, they say, this person is doing well. This person is doing well. Does not mean, you are doing well for more work. So more work will be added to you. Next, how does she manage time? She's managing multiple projects. She knows the importance of prioritization. I mentioned that the tasks that are important and urgent, and you give them blocks of time. You know that, I'm very energetic in the morning. Move all your meetings to the morning. Every emails, when immediately you get to the office, look at your emails. What emails do I need to respond to? Which one can I delegate? Just to ensure that you do not miss anything. Keep a to-do list and ensure that, once you can tell yourself in time, you don't have to say it to your boss. I know that I'm always, spent already once it's 2. So I try to do all of my work. So once it's 2, 3, I already know that I'm doing the things that don't require a lot of paying attention to details or that are susceptible to errors or mistake. right? And then just begin to do them gradually. But you front-loaded the work already. Not that you were playing at that time and then now 2 o'clock, you're now rushing and you're already tired. You make mistakes. You would make mistakes. Exceptional communicator. One of Stella's strengths is the ability to communicate clearly and effectively. She always keeps her stakeholders informed, providing regular updates. It's not enough for you, like I said earlier, to just do the job. Carry everybody important along. Your team members listen to their feedback. Provide criticism or feedback when necessary and ensure that everybody is supported. Everybody likes somebody who will not throw them under the bus, somebody who would, help them. And, as you keep communicating, your communication style will evolve. This is how this person likes to be spoken to. Oh, this is how we can resolve conflicts. Because once you're always communicating, conflicts will be to the barest minimum because it's transparent. Everybody can see, everybody knows. So you're not hiding anything, right? It's in plain sight. Then how is she adaptable and resilient? So an illustration, during one particular challenging project, the client's requirements changed halfway through development, causing delays and confusion. While many of our colleagues were frustrated, I mentioned this earlier, Stella remained calm. She quickly adjusted the project timeline, reallocated resources, and had open conversations with her team and the client. Despite the setback, the project was completed successfully. So you're always saying, what is the way out? What can we do differently? You are calm. You're not pressured. You're not running out like a headless chicken. No, you are saying, okay, so this is what has happened. Where do we go from here? What's next? Positivity. That way you grow and you become a better leader. So while Stella could easily manage tasks on her own, she believed in the power of teamwork. If you have junior managers, help them also improve. Lead them by example. Have team bonding exercises. Foster collaboration, support their morale and their productivity, and you see that they will do more. And you're a better team player, you're a better lead, and you can be seen as a role model, and people will support you. Everybody likes to support a boss that will support them. Any boss that will make you shine. You also want that boss to shine because you know that once your boss is promoted, you would also be promoted. And we'll be rounding off shortly. This is the last slide. Thank you for staying through. And then growth oriented and committed. Even as Stella excelled in her role, she never stopped learning. You can't stop learning. The day you stop learning, you start dying, right? So she enrolled in online courses, project management, leadership, emerging technology, initiated regular meetings to discuss area of growth. Like I mentioned, identify your training needs. How can your organization send you on those training needs so that you can add more value to the organization, to the company's vision? Pay attention to your personal and professional development so that you are well positioned as a key asset to the organization or to your career vision as a whole. Because you're telling yourself 10 years from now, I want to work in a Fortune 500 as this. With this level of skill that I have, will I get there? What do I need to get there? You're able to plan your growth phase and say, okay, this is how I need to do, this is what I need to go. And the truth is, when you do all of this, the results will be definitely, you'll be promoted. Multiple promotions. Your clients will not leave you. Your clients will want to stay with you because they know, oh, Stella will definitely attend to our needs. And then your team would also grow because everybody wants to be on your team. Greater projects will be committed to you because you achieve these things within time and under the right budget. So this is just a journey that shows you how proactive problem solving, consistently delivering excellence, understanding time management, communicating excellently, being adaptable and resilient, a team player and leadership in line with growth and commitment can help you be that superstar person. So you want to take all of these 7 points now and ask yourself, okay, on my role, how can I practice proactive problem solving? Okay, I'm just going to pick one per week. And then for the rest of this year, let me see how I improve. And I hope that we've had an amazing time. So I want to say thank you for joining the class. And it's time for questions. I hope you got value. Thank you for joining the class and for your time. So questions, please, or feedback, anything to help us move forward. Then we call it a day.